the Lakers drafted Bronny James, right? And everyone was like, "Oh, this is great! You know, father and son. We get, you know, Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. All this and that. Like, oh, black nepotism. I'll go ahead and define black nepotism right now, or nepotism.
Just nepotism. There we go. Why I gotta be black?
So based on the definition from Merriam-Webster, nepotism is a noun defined as the practice amongst those with power or influence of favoring relatives, friends, or associates, especially by giving them jobs. That is nepotism. So, in a sentence, LeBron James's influence on the Lakers front office and general management decisions is an example of nepotism because he was able to get his son, Bronny James Jr., a job. Nepotism. So,
got it.
As the father of a son, if I were in a position where I ran a company, and it's kind of funny because I watch my wife and kids with Michael Kyle and Junior. Junior gets hired by Michael Kyle at some point, but what the hell does Michael Kyle Sr. do? He makes Junior work his ass off that first day on the job, right? He doesn't hand him like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you a job." He like, "Nah, you gotta get to work yourself. Like, drive yourself to work. Get on the train to go to work. I'm not driving you to work. I'm not just gonna hand it off to you and let you do it." Like, bar none, LeBron James was going to get his son a job somewhere in one of the 30 cities in the NBA. That was going to happen, like regardless of how well or not so well that he played in college. My problem is, and it's not just with LeBron, it's also with the Lakers and how they run themselves in general. They do everything around either what LeBron James wants or what they think he wants. Now, he for sure wanted to play with Bronny James. I understand that as far as like legacy and your impact on the game, you know, blah, 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 blah. The Lakers' job as an organization is not to appease LeBron James. The Lakers' job as an organization is to win NBA championships. Now, that being said, do they have a better chance of winning a championship with LeBron James? Of course, absolutely. I get that. Are they going to win an NBA championship right now, LeBron James? Hell no. They're not going to do that. Like, in what way? Like, the Lakers are not going to beat the Nuggets. They're not going to beat the Thunder. They're not going to beat the Timberwolves. They're not going to beat these other teams out in the West. The Golden State Warriors here. Who knows? They're not. That's not going to happen. So why would you sign or draft Bronny James? What is the point? What do you expect out of Bronny James? Like, he's going to be a decent role player. He's not moving the needle. And my problem with the Lakers is that they continue. You wasted a second-round pick. When I look at Denver Nuggets roster and I see Nikola Jokic, there is literally no wasting a pick. They drafted Nikola Jokic during a Taco Bell commercial, but the scouting department did their damn job in making sure they drafted the best player possible, regardless of what position that was in the draft. Bronny James is not going to be a superstar player. He's not going to be an all-star player. He's going to be a halfway decent role player. So the Lakers, there were better options aside from Bronny James. It's a cool story. It's a nice story. As a father of a son, I understand it. But in terms of how the organization runs, I do not understand that for the Lakers. And if I'm a Lakers fan, not myself because I'm not a Lakers fan anymore, but if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm frustrated with LeBron. I'm tired of this. It's been several years of just the same BS of LeBron essentially running the show, and we get bad results every time. That's exactly what it is. So shout out to Bronny James. I like him. I said it when I saw him at Collierville at that little hoops event that he was an NBA player. I still believe that to this day. He's an NBA player, but not enough to just, you know, push all my chips in for him and to have a freaking betting prop that said he's gonna score 25 points in the game. If Bronny James scores 25 points in an NBA game this season, I'm giving somebody some money. I don't know how much I'm giving. I'm giving somebody some money. I will give somebody $25 if LeBron James scores 25 points in an NBA game this season.
Unfortunately, as I'm listening to you talk, I'm also sitting here thinking about LeBron and his best years in a span of time. And ironically enough, of course, to me, it always comes down to Miami. He's never had a greater 4 years, whether it was 4 years together in Cleveland, 4 years straight in LA. He's never had 4 great years. Now, granted, I get it. We had Chris Bosh, we had D Wade, but we had some bums on the rest of them.
True.
But LeBron was not in control of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Riley and company were in control of the organization. And so when I say that, I'm now flipping the script to Los Angeles. Los Angeles' hands are tied. The Lakers' hands are tied because at this point right now, still, LeBron James is an unrestricted free agent. So they had to draft Bronny, or else you let the potential of Bronny going somewhere and LeBron James going somewhere. And ladies and gentlemen, no one still wants to sign with LA, by the way. No one is lining up to go, hey, I want to go play with AD per se or with the Lakers. So to me, LeBron has kind of handicapped, to your point, Savage, he has handicapped the Lakers from their decision making, and then adding their coach of JJ Redick, which is more than likely a coach of his choosing, right? For what? And again, like I said earlier in this podcast, the Lakers, to me, as of today, as of July 1st, even signing LeBron James with the roster they have intact, may not even make, I'm going to say they make the playoffs, play-in team. Again, another play-in team, right? Again, another year in the play-in, possibly, but they're not going to get anywhere. And it doesn't matter if they see the Nuggets or whoever it may be. I don't see them legitimately going further with this roster as constructed and as drafted. And I have some other draft picks I want to talk about too, but we're just going to stick to Bronny right now.
Savage, when I hear everything you just said about Bronny, it kind of seemed like I don't feel like the Lakers put the like you said, the chips in the basket, like do everything in just to get Bronny. You know what I'm saying? He was a 55 pick. To your word, he's an NBA player. So if he's an NBA player, we should be expecting a second contract. Would y'all agree, right? Would y'all agree that because that's what I'm saying. If Bronny James as a 55th, let's just think about this for a second. No matter if it's Bronny James, it can be James Bronny. If he's the 55th pick, we don't expect him to get a second contract at all. Just being right. We don't expect many second round picks. I get everything that you just said about the Nuggets, but some organizations are like that and they ain't. This brings me back to my next point of last podcast that I said, and I asked y'all, are the Lakers and LeBron stuck, or are the Lakers stuck with LeBron? Y'all say yes. It was a yes, in the community as well. Which, okay, if that's going to be the point, how can we better maximize and try to win a championship? Because I'm not going to say the Lakers ain't trying to win a championship. It's just that their front management is kind of iffy. You know what I'm saying? With LeBron included. To bring in Bronny, I think when you talk about Bronny and bringing in his son, for one, I love it. I love the fact that he's able to play with his son, because for the next 2-3 years, you're going to be able to learn from the best on how to best be a pro. You're going to be learning, from your dad in LA. So not to say, his dad has set him up for success in LA on and off the basketball court. Like Bronny, USC, how many, he's connected to LA. So you already know the endorsements deals going to come on. Y'all as fathers of sons, y'all will want that for your kids. Once I'm out of this league in 3 or 4 years, I need to make sure, A, that my son is able to make as much money as possible, and B, that he get that second contract. You know what I'm saying? I can understand if the Lakers use a first round pick for him. I get it. That's crazy. But to use a 55th pick to bring your son in, I think that's pretty special. I'm not expecting him to score 25 points this game either, but next year, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. So he had a tough deal at USC. He really wasn't point guard, if you want to be real. He really wasn't the point guard on the team. It was Isaiah Collier. Shout out to him, who got selected by the Jazz, which I don't understand. I think they lost the draft picking him. Not saying that it's on Isaiah Collier, but y'all got a bunch of other guards. Y'all got 18 guards. What the hell y'all got them for? But we'll talk about them in another podcast. But bringing it back to Bronny, he wasn't really able to play much in USC because he had the heart surgery as well. I'm saying all that to say that I think it's too early to be like, hey, Bronny ain't gonna be in the league, 2-3 years from now. Because like you said, Savage, you already said he's an NBA player. So if he is an NBA player, selecting him at 55, that's a good selection to me. And especially if I'm able to play with my pops for the next 3 to 4 years. I think that's special. I think we're going to see Bronny James grow into an actual NBA player. And I think eventually down the line, he could, with his IQ, if he can turn into a Drew Holiday type of player, Drew Holiday's best years, just in my opinion, have been the latest. He's won 2 championships in the last 5 years. I would love to see that turn into Bronny James.